Écoute mon cœur, où es-tu maintenant? Il s'agit d'attendre toute ma vie.
Little disclaimer before we continue in today's video: the gameplay that you are seeing in the background is not representative of the actual gameplay after the update. The thing is that when I purchased Lies of P, I did my Deluxe Edition purchase on console so that I would be able to play on the Xbox Play Anywhere system, where I could be playing on my PC and I could be playing on my console. So at the time that I'm recording this video, the patch has not been rolled to consoles. It is more than likely that when you are seeing this video, the patch is already going to be there, but if it's not, then you know the reason. I do not expect for them to take that long. But anyways, that is why I wasn't able to record footage for this thing, because this was first rolled on Steam. So that's that. And I basically nerfed the entire game. I can already see a lot of people wearing that a badge of honor. Something close and similar to what happened with Elden Ring and Radan, where everyone was like, I beat Radan pre-patch. Well, you're probably going to be saying the same thing. I beat Lies of P pre-patch. Because they nerfed really hard the entire game. Most of the game. So that said, I'm going to be covering the highlights of everything. There's a lot of trash, balance, bug fixes, and what have you. The link is going to be in the video description. But that said, they decrease the HP of certain specific field monsters, meaning those elite annoying enemies that was very much needed. I can't stress enough how much more difficult those enemies were, other than the bosses. It was really weird that the bosses were not that difficult, but the field elite enemies, they were. Another change that they did on the enemies that you have on the battlefields is that they drop more objects. This is going to change the farming as well, because once you reach the end game, the enemies start dropping ergo fragments that give you like 5k ergo. So if you want to farm for levels, I'd say that this would be the best ideal way of farming levels now, instead of enemies that natively give you like 1k ergo. So that's something that has changed. Also, the stagger window. In general, it says that the stagger window, it's bigger, so you don't really have to. You still have your upgrades of your P organ that increase the stagger window of the enemies, but that's something that you are going to have in general as well. So you don't really have to pressure yourself that much because of the stagger window. And talking about those extra rewards that you are going to get, it also comes into the moonstone type items, the star fragments. Although, yeah, I mean, I don't get those ones. I have like 100 of them sitting around in the... Anyways, but the moonstones and the ergo items, those are actually quite amazing. Like I said, those are going to change how you farm the game. And now we have the bosses that they changed. And mainly, they change those skill check bosses. Everyone else remains untouched. Those bosses that did give you a little bit of an issue, talking about Archbishop Andreas, the King of Puppets, and Simon Manus, they basically decrease the HP of the Archbishop. They decrease the HP of the King of Puppets. That's only on the first phase. So the second, it's pretty much the same. Romeo, it's pretty much the same. Now, in Simon Manus, they change the HP. They decrease the HP of the first phase. On the second phase, HP remains untouched, but it deals less damage in the second phase. And also, you can stagger him more often. And Simon Manus, I mean, it's one of those enemies that has the kind of technique of throwing random crap at you at the same time, and it can be very challenging for new players, especially for new players trying to learn his moveset. Once you learn him, I actually do manage every time that I do a new playthrough. I do beat him first try, because it's really not that difficult, but that's because I just got accustomed to the moveset and the random things that he's throwing at you. While I was learning, he was a pain. He was a real pain because there's just too much going on around you. So hopefully this is going to help you with that. Now when it comes to respect, all of that has been redone, remade. Now you can do the respect at the gold fruit tree, so that is nice. You don't have to be traveling back and forth, and you're going to have access to it sooner. And I also do believe that the amount that is required for you to do respects is less, so that's something nice indeed. Now these final changes are the ones that I think that they were needed the most. They are amazing changes, and mainly on the capacity stat. The capacity stat, the thing is that once you reach New Game Plus, once you reach that 50 capacity, on how the game is built, how the game is made, it really stops making any difference. So if you want to be that lightweighted character, it is not possible. You would have to like invest like 100 on it, and that still sounds like a little bit of a stretch. The thing is that on New Game Plus you get new amulets, +1 amulets, +1 armor, and that +1 armor, it does gives more armor, but it's also heavier as well. And you also have the thing about the boss amulets. I can't stress enough how important are boss amulets, because they inherently alter the playstyle and how you approach the game. Like for example, are you a very good perfect guarder? Are you very good with your perfect guards? Then you might as well be using the boss amulet that increases the damage every time that you perfect guard. Are you, on the other hand, a little bit more of a leaning, a dodge kind of character, which is what I like to do in this game. As you see me playing throughout the playthrough gameplay that you have in background, I like to dodge a lot, and I don't want to be worrying about fury attacks. Then you might as well be using the Ghost Walker amulet. The thing is that the Ghost Walker amulet weighs like 21 pounds. That has decreased by half, so that's nice. You can now play around with the boss amulets a little bit better. That's something really nice. But also every point into capacity, it's going to increase your capacity that much more. So it is more viable to invest more into capacity once you enter into New Game Plus, and while you are leveling up, you don't have to manage that much, whether if you're going to be using heavy amulets or heavy weapons, because capacity is going to have you covered. So that's very much appreciated. Now, poise, that has been a huge concern of player base all throughout the release of Lies of P. And we still don't have proper poise, but one of the most infuriating things that would happen while you were playing and while you were fighting those annoying elites, those annoying bosses, is to use your 3 Fable odds, Fable slots, to get interrupted in your face. And yeah, I mean, if you were also a Fable build focused, which is something that we did post yesterday, a Fable focused builds, then that's a bummer. They added hyper armor to the Fable arts that require the 3 of them, even while you're chaining them. So it is not only on the Fable arts that have instacast cost of 3 Fable slots. If you have the follow-ups, like for example with the 2 Dragon Sword, or the Link Slash, if you have those 3, if they require 3 Fable slots to complete the combo of your Fable attack, that is going to have hyper armor, and that is going to be amazing. That is going to make the game so much more easier. And if you have, again, a build that is focused on the usage of Fable, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. This hyper armor right here is very appreciated, although heavy weapons are still going to struggle quite a bit. So there is that. And finally, the Fable art got parry. I think that different weapons have that Fable art. Now that is going to break the monster stance, which is highly appreciated, but I still think that they need to tweak a little bit the parry system reward, perfect guard system reward. That's something that the players are still wondering about. I'm very surprised that they didn't touch at least the like for example how tight it is. I enjoy it, but I enjoy like very challenging things. But still, I think that this is tighter even than in Sekiro, so that's something to be said as well. And the reward, there really is not that much of a reward, so there has to be much more of a reward for us to be able to use perfect guards more often. And I think that, for example, at the very least, breaking the monster stance on a single perfect guard, that would have done the trick, even if they did not want to nail down a little bit more how tight it is. But that's just me. Anyways, if you like the content, like and it's super appreciated. And I was tell you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful, beautiful person. I will be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.
Écoute mon cœur, je t'attendrai même.